ועתה יובן עניין שמחת חתן וכלה.
What? Yeah, okay.
Left side.
Yeah.
So, והנה מבואר, next paragraph. והנה מבואר, ממה שנזכר למעלה, דמה שתישמר הניצוץ בגופה ומחמת מדרגה אלוקית הרבה יותר נעלה ממדרגה זו של הניצוץ, ומה שאלה מסירת נפש וחולות הנפש. So the thing that actually causes the divine spark to be sustained in the body, even though he has this tremendous yearning, okay, is because of a higher degree, a higher level than the spark itself. Okay? It has to come from something higher, because the spark itself wants to return to the source. וכמו שנתבר במקום אחר בעניין הפרש משה עליו השלום בזה משאר הנביאים, שנתבר והיה עומד בגופו כמקודם. So we started seeing this yesterday, right? That Moshe Rabbeinu, his prophecy is different from the rest of the prophets, and he was able to stand.
He was part of Hashem. He was like.
No, he was part of Hashem.
We're all part of Hashem, but he's like. He was totally united with Hashem.
He was not affected by the prophecy as other prophets were. Because his body was not an impediment. Because he says now, the whole dynamic of yearning above is because there's something about the body that impedes the revelation of divine light here below. So that the spark yearns to free itself from the body. But if the body itself is not an impediment, if the body itself is pure, there in Moshe Rabbeinu's body, the Shekhinah spoke out of his throat. So his throat already has a Shekhinah in it. And this is the same thing that we say that it comes and goes in souls. I don't know what he's referring to. And that's why this is called...
What is the connection between that and Simchat Kala?
So, now we see. So this is why it's called the joy of the Kala. Why? Because we said yesterday, the joy is directional from above to below. Right? Because
is it also Simchat Chatan?
No, Simchat Chatan is the opposite.
But you say in the Shem
Again, but the Chassan here, he's the one who's yearning up, who's going up.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the Ratzah V'Shov in the Alter Rebbe is very complex. It's not easy like it is in other places. In other places, it's clear that Ratzah is yearning up and Shov is coming down. So there is such a thing by the Alter Rebbe. Where is it? Here in the Chassan. But this is really, from other places we know, that this is for the Chassan going up in order to come down. Aliyah Tzorich Yerida is really the final stage of something that happened earlier. Why? Because Chassan also, we said, comes from the word nachat, that it comes down. So originally, the Chassan comes down. The male side is originating from above, it's coming down, and when it meets the female side, now you're saying that they're together, so they go up together, and they come down together again. Okay? It's very important. The Chassan originally has to come down in order to marry. The male side has to come down in order to marry. What is that like?
Why does the male side have to come down?
Because the male side is like the representation of God.
Okay.
So if Hashem didn't come down on Har Sinai, if he didn't come down on Mount Sinai, there would be no ability for anyone to elevate. He has to start. If there's going to be any connection between above and below, right? So someone has to start. And Hashem says, and I start. I'm the one who's starting. How do I start? By coming down on Mount Sinai.
Moket of Mexico. Oh Hashem. Are you going to bed yet? Okay, so then I'll just wish you a good Shabbos now. I don't want to disturb Moshe Ganut too much. I'm learning with Moshe Ganut, or we're trying to learn. He's getting a bit fed up because I'm always interrupting. But anyway, I'll check you out your estimates to Shabbos, and you have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbos. Don't forget to say all the Tehillim from beginning to end without talking, with a minion. And have a wonderful Fabrenga. I'll make it a l'chaim for me and for everybody. Okay? Alright, Shluf Gesundheit. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you so much for calling. Bye-bye.
Okay?
Yeah, that's Mexico.
Did you understand what I said?
No. There's no issue.
There's someone above and someone below. How
Yeah,
are you
so I was
gonna
about to
connect
say
them?
to you, there's Isirusa de la Tata, Isirusa de la Ela. So the normal event of things is that we daven to Hashem, Isirusa de la Tata, and it causes
You can't
something.
daven to Hashem without Hashem first revealing himself to you. So Hashem has to first come
Daven
down.
to Hashem
It
without
means
Hashem.
nothing. You have to have some revelation before. The revelation before is Mount Sinai. So Hashem came down.
That was
Hashem
once.
al
That
Sinai.
was once off. That was Klal Yisrael.
Right?
Now you're talking about Chatan, the Kala.
No, he's
Below
the
you.
Chatan. The
Okay.
male side is the male side is Hashem. So he first came down.
Okay.
So he begins from above and
Okay.
it goes below. Now, when he joins the Kala, when he joins the bride, now they go up together in order to return back down.
Okay, well, they go up together. It's not the same as the Chatan was by himself. This is a new Indian.
It's not at all. It was never from below to above. It's a whole new thing. What you're saying is that the second time that he comes down
Yeah.
with the Kala, then it's
This is a
different
new
from the
ballgame.
first time.
Right.
It's completely different than the first time. Okay? So we have a down, up, down motion. Okay, so first the chassan comes down, then they go up together, and then they come down together. What is this? What is this about? Because the nature of the kala here is to come down. The simcha of the kala is not going up; it's actually coming down the second time with her chassan. So what would we say this like? This like in the marriage, we can see it that the chassan goes to do bedekin with the kala, and then he first goes to the chuppah first. Then she comes, she joins him, and then they come back down together. They come down from the. It's like that his going to her in the beginning. That's him starting. He has to want to wed her. But now they go to the chuppah in practice separate, but now they're together already. Because in the chuppah they're together. And when they come down, they're also together. When is the kala's joy? The joy is when she comes down with her chassan. It's not so much her joy when she goes up to the chuppah. It's not finished yet. She knows that this is, I have to, who does chuppah halachically belong to? To the chassan, right? That's why it's called a chatuna.
That's why the parents of the Chatan pay the Rav who does the Masada Kedusha.
Yeah? The whole chuppah is really like bringing her into his home. And so we don't do that. We don't do that anymore.
That's what it's. That's
Right, but it's the same thing. So the chuppah is it's like my room. It's like I brought you into my room. But we do it. Why is it open? Because we want to do it before Aiden. We want everyone to see that we got married. We want everyone to see from all sides, from all directions. And then when you come down from the chuppah, that's when the joy really is for the kala. Because the kala's joy is coming down. It's not going up. In fact, it's difficult for him. The chassan has a lot of joy going up. Why? Because they're going back to a source. Okay?
so if he's going back to his source, why doesn't he stay there?
Because now he's married. He has to go with his wife. He's now connected to the female side, so he has to come down also. He can't stay up. Okay? So what did we say before? That the Mesiras Nefesh of the Kala is when she goes up. It's Mesiras Nefesh. For her to go to the chuppah, it's Mesiras Nefesh. I'm like going into someone's room. What, am I crazy? Yeah. It happens to be that this room is open and everybody can see everything. But that's, and all they do is talk there. They don't talk to each other. Some other people talk. But still, that motion of
But she's Midrash, that's why she's covered.
good reason, it makes it easier. So, by us, this means that when I do my Mesiras Nefesh to come to Hashem, that's very difficult for me. It's Mesiras Nefesh. There's no joy in it. I don't feel the joy then. When do I feel the joy? I feel the joy when we come back down. When there's joy that's a result of the Mesiras Nefesh that I had. There's a joy out of the self-sacrifice that I had in my run to Hashem. And then I came down. That's when the joy is coming down always. That's the direction. That's what he's saying in this paragraph. ולכך זה נקרא בשם שמחת כלה, שתתעדן בעונג הנשפל ויורד אל עצמותו, כמו השמחה בכל מקום מבחינת ירידה והשפלה מלמעלה למטה, שהרי בשמחה האדם מתגלה יותר, כמו שמדבר במקום אחר, כמו כן שמחת כלה בחינת ירידה, הוא בהיפוך מקלות הנפש, הוא עונג העולה, והשמחה הוא העונג היורד ודי למבין. So, the close nefesh, the Mesiras Nefesh, that she's yearning, that's from below to above, that's oneg. There's a pleasure in it, but it's not joy. And the joy is only when you come back down. But zeu simchat chatan ha'elyon. Kiktiv. In this way, we'll also understand the joy of the supernal groom, the supernal chassan. Kiksiv. כמראה אבן ספיר דמות כיסא, ונזכר בזאת, המלכות העלמא תתה לגבי העלמא עילה דתחורה, כי היי אבן תבה. It says that the world above is masculine, and the world below is feminine. That's what he means to say. וכמו המראה, שמה שמראים נתראה בה, and it's like a mirror that shows what was above, except upside down. Meaning the malchus, the malchus,
mirror image, it's not upside down.
the mirror image, the malchus, the bottom of the tzilus, the bottom of emanation is malchus. It's like he says, like a precious stone. And the idea of a precious stone here is that it flips everything over. It's like a lens that causes things to flip over. So what was above here becomes below there. That's what the malchus does. It's not a.
It's like Noah's precious stone in the table.
It's like our lens also. The lens in our eye does the same thing. Whenever something hits a lens, you don't get the image on the other side right side up. It always, I don't think you can make a lens because that's the nature, right? Because what came from above hits below. What came from below hits above. That's how a lens works. So it flips the image. So it says that there's a statement in the Zohar that the Malchus is flipping the picture of emanation. So what in emanation was above, in Asiya will be below. And we know this. This is called Olam Hafuch Leiti. They see an upside down world. So what was Chachma above, what was wisdom above, what does it become? It becomes like Malchus below, it becomes Shafel, it becomes Bazui. Chochmat HaChacham Bzuya, says Proverbs. The wisdom of the wise man is scorned in this world. Why? Because this world is upside down. What was above there turns out to be upside lowest here. וכן בהיפוך למעלה, מה שמראים בדמות כבוד השם, הנקרא מראות אלוקים, והוא שמחת כלה עליונה, על דרך זה הוא בא לראות באופן שמחה כזו דווקא, דהיינו בעונג הנשפל ויורד, והיינו שמחת חתן. So it becomes a little complex here, but think about the world above, the world below, and here you have the lens, the malchus, and everything that was above now comes below. So it becomes like the joy of the kala, because what was above is now below. So it's a descent. וכנזכר בזוהר, והיום המלכה ביתר היתיב. It says in the Zohar that on this day the king sits in the gateway. פירוש, כשיש שמחה גדולה אז המלך מתגלה ויוצא מפנימיות היכלה ויושב בשער כדי שיראו כל ההמון דווקא אפילו אני נבזה. It says when there's a great celebration in the land, so the king comes out and everybody can see him. What's he saying? So when there's a joy, somebody made it up, and now the king comes down, so that's the joy that he's suddenly revealed. How is he revealed? He's not just revealed, but because of the malchus there, because of this lens that was created from the upward motion, so everything that was above is now revealed below. Okay? That's what you need to think about it. That it's not just revealed, it's revealed all the way down to the lowest levels of our reality. So that everything that was concealed now becomes revealed. That's the joy of the Kala. That's called the joy of the Kala. Because what did she do? She caused the Chassan to be revealed. What does it mean? It means that a woman wants her husband to succeed. She wants him to be revealed. That's what she really wants. Now, each woman has a different idea about what it means to be revealed. She has a picture. When she gets married, she has a picture of what she wants her husband to be like. sometimes it's a good picture, sometimes it's not so good. That's why it says that a woman is the one who causes a man to either go up or down. Because by supporting him and pushing him, it all depends on what her final picture is in her mind. What is she thinking of? A woman who wants her husband to be a tzaddik, she can push him in that direction, and he will be. That's a famous medrash that everybody quotes. That it's all dependent on the woman. What do you mean? Like, it's not dependent on the man. If he resists entirely, it won't work. But the idea is that she has in her mind his potential. She sees, like she wants the highest levels that are concealed to be revealed below. That's what she wants. And if she gets it, then she's happy. Because now I caused my husband to be the way I wanted him to be. That's why all your, what we discussed, where are you going? What are you doing? What do you mean you haven't decided yet? I already decided for you. What do you mean I decided? I have a picture of what you need to become. How come you don't have a picture of what you need to become? It's very frustrating for a woman when her husband doesn't know what he wants. She wants him to know. She has a picture of what she wants him to become. And it should also be his joy. He also wants to reveal all his treasures, all this potential, everything that he hasn't been able to show until now. So now we're missing one paragraph. You don't have it. I'll just read it. And we find this thing in the Megillah. Interesting, we're tying into Purim already. That Achashverosh showed when he became the king. Who made him the king, by the way?
His wife.
His wife. It's a very classic case of someone who was nothing.
Married the boss's daughter.
Yeah, but much more than that, because she had the same thing happened to Michal and David. Michal was the boss's daughter. She married David, and she had a certain picture of what David should be like. And when he wasn't, she was very upset at him. And she was so upset that she never had a child again with him.
She never had a child at all.
That's a debate.
Yeah?
It's a machlokas, and whether she had when she died or whether she didn't. It says Adi Yomota. It says until the day she died. There's opinions that say that she did have a child, and she died from childbirth. But in any case, the whole relationship was not working. Why? Because she had a certain picture of what David should be like. When she married him, she saw her father. That's a big problem that many women have. That they see their father and their husband. Usually they want to marry someone who they think will become like my father. But he's a different person. He might not be the way. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. So a woman also has to constantly rethink what is it that I want my husband to be. And that whole relationship is described in the Song of Songs, in Shir Shir. The whole thing of the falling in love in the beginning, and then the maturation into understanding. Like they look at each other like putting each other on pedestals. They don't have a reality picture. But towards the end, there's constantly a tension of what is possible, what in the end is possible. So we have to have a certain understanding that the way that we envision Hashem is not necessarily how Hashem is going to be revealed. It's true that we have a very good picture of what it is, but you're always surprised. And so the joy is understanding that Hashem revealed Himself, even if it's not exactly according to my plans. That's shifting. For that you need shiftless. And what does it mean? It means that the simcha comes down, meaning Hashem comes down. If you make yourself, we talked about this, you make yourself into an engraved seal, then He's an embossed seal that can come and fill it. But if you're not, you have no vessel, you haven't engraved yourself, meaning you don't have any lowliness, Hashem can't come down because you were saying you can only come down on my terms. That doesn't work. So that's all of that. ואם כן, אין שמחה לעונה דעצלות בחינת ירידה וגילוי גדול, כי אם על ידי מעשה המצוות דווקא כנ"ל, ודאי למבין. We said the mitzvos, that's the dvash. And the dvash is actually in this sense, again, that's why you do the mitzvos, is in this sense it's higher than the yearning. Because Because the yearning is the spiritual side of Torah. The mitzvos is the dvash, that's the gvura. We said that everything, all the mitzvos that you do, that's din. That's all based on judgment. Because you have to learn halacha, you have to understand how things work, and you follow them to the letter, or even deeper than the letter. So all of that is what makes it possible. That's the engraving of the vessel. And that's what makes it possible for Hashem's light to come down. So that's Simchas Chasam V'Kala. Very deep ideas, both about marriage, but about mitzvos and Torah, the relationship between doing mitzvos and being spiritual, and so on. So we finished.
Zanfeld is not here.
What?
Zanfeld's not here. It's gone 8 o'clock, and you have to.